Downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it, you're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR, S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse. Hi there. Are you dreaming of owning your own house in Ghana? Then you will need a well-documented piece of land that is free from troubles. I highly recommend My Africa Property for any size of land that you will need. With My Africa Property, lands are available in Pram, Sopoli, Tohenia, Ogome, Dodova, Winneba, and many other locations at affordable prices. These locations are about an hour away from the airport, only 35 minutes from the motorway, 10 minutes drive from Central University College, 10 minutes drive to the beach, and close to Pram Senior High School and Ghana Men's Soccer Center of Excellence. For more details, visit our website www.myafricaproperty.com or call our UK office on 0208 123 2523. For our US and Canada offices, call us on +1 585 184 994145. You can also email us at ghana@myafricaproperty.com.
Getting onto the property ladder has never been easy until now. Join us this and every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. live on the Property Hour show on Starr Radio UK, where we talk to mortgage brokers, property developers, estate agents, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour show is your best source into the property industry.
Tune in to On Point here on Star Radio UK with Empress Regina every Monday at 5 p.m. GMT. Looking forward to your company.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it, you're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR, S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Welcome back to the program. This is Star Radio UK, and this is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station. In London, we had a bit of internet fluctuation there that brought about the delay in the broadcast and a pause in it. But we are back online. As I did announce earlier on, we'll be having our money man, Mr. Dan Tabiri, joining us at 12:30. So in the next 11 minutes, and we're going to be looking a continuation of the inheritance tax topic that we discussed a couple of weeks ago. All right then. So wherever you are, don't touch the dial. This is Star Radio UK. This is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Let's move on. So on the African front, that's what is happening with the Yahoo issue that has gone on, the arrest of this individual house. And then in another story as well, the French Navy has seized nearly 10 tons of cocaine worth about $610 million or 540 million pounds off the coast of West Africa, French authorities have said. Now, 2 French naval vessels operating as part of Operation Corium intercepted the enormous cocaine haul from an unflagged fishing vessel on Monday. Acting on a tip-off from Maritime Intelligence, Anti-Drug Authorities, and the British National Crime Agency, the Corium naval mission has been deployed by France in the Gulf of Guinea since 1990 to ensure security in an area where piracy is fairly common. The French Navy said the 54 tons of drugs has been intercepted in the area since the beginning of the year. France Atlantic Maritime Prefecture said similar cooperation by national and international actors in the fight against narcotics had led to the remarkable seizure of 9.6 tons of cocaine. That is quite enormous. That is quite enormous. But ladies and gentlemen, this is Starr Radio UK, and this is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London as we go on. Okay. Okay, so as we go on, my microphone was playing up. Well, we move on to some of the other discussions in other parts of Africa as well. Well, Ethiopia and Niger plan to build nuclear plants with Russia Rosatom. And that's going to be quite an interesting one, right? Yeah. And that story came through just a moment ago. Ethiopia signed an agreement with Russia on Thursday to build a nuclear power plant in the East African nation. The deal was finalized by leaders of the Ethiopian Electric Power Company and Russian state-owned entity Rosatom during a nuclear energy forum in Moscow. Now they agreed to create a detailed construction plan and a roadmap for the technical and economic foundation of the project, plus an intergovernmental agreement to proceed. The agreement also called for training of staff to operate the plant and develop the nuclear sector. Earlier, Niger's mining minister Osman Archie said his country wanted to build 2,000 megawatts nuclear reactors in partnership with Russian Nuclear Corporation. So let's see how that pans out for them. It goes up, well, why not? But other issue will be, what are they going to be using it for, right? Ladies and gentlemen, this all coming away from Starr Radio UK as we get ourselves ready to have our money man, Mr. Dan Tabiri, joining us. Now, from Nigeria, the federal lawmaker representing the Ekwanu Omohia North, Omohia South Federal constituency in the House of Representatives, Honorable Obi Ogocha has commended the Department of State Services and the Attorney General of the Federation for intervening in the medical care of detained separatist leader Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Speaking on Thursday in Abuja, Ogocha confirmed that following his formal appeal to the DSS Director General, Mr. Adiola Ajayi, Kanu had been relocated to a secure medical facility and was receiving treatment in line with his doctor's recommendation. I am personally monitoring the welfare of Mazi Kanu, and I can confirm he's under proper medical supervision, Ogocha said. He dismissed circulating report claiming that Kanu was not receiving adequate care. So he's coming out to come and justify the fact that Kanu is receiving adequate care. But we knew that information that came through was that the judge who was overseeing the Kanu case was supposed to bring a ruling. There was supposed to be a ruling this today. But as to whether that's taking place or not, I'm trying to see. My producer will get me that information as to whether that ruling has taken place. But well, the only news that have come through is pertaining to Nnamdi Kanu's health. The Nigeria Medical Association has constituted a 7-member team of experts to ascertain the actual health status of the detained self-acclaimed leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu. Now, lawyer to the Department of State Services and prosecuting lawyer in Kanu's ongoing terrorism trial, Adeboyega Awomolo, disclosed that at the resumed hearing in the case on Friday, Awolomo said the federal government chose to invite the NMA to intervene in the matter in view of conflicting information about Kanu's actual state of health. Well, he spoke while opposing the application by Kanu, in which Kanu is seeking to be taken to the National Hospital in Abuja for medical attention. Omolo prayed the court to grant a week's adjournment to enable NMA to meet its report. Now, as against claim by Kanu's lawyer Onyechi Ekwezo that his client's health was seriously threatened, Womolo argued otherwise, insisting that nothing was unusual about Kanu's complaint in relation to his health. So they say same old. Justice James Omotosho has stood down proceedings to write a ruling on whether or not Kanu should be taken to National Hospital as he requested in his application. So the ruling that was supposed to have taken place to add no case, I think that has been thrown out, and now that has been suspended for Kanu's health issue to be looked at. But it's all coming away from Starr Radio UK. That is the news that is making the rounds all in Nigeria this morning that I can bring you. Now let's hook on straight to Ghana as well, and let me tell you what is happening there. Well, the legal brains, three of them who have headed some departments, the Attorney General's department in Ghana, have given various interpretation or pertaining to the removal of the Chief Justice, the former Chief Justice Gertrude Araba Saki Tokono, by President John Dramani Mahama. Now, the controversies there, the ongoing debate among top legal luminaries in the country has signaled a division over the process and implication of the dismissal of Justice Tokono. In a statement issued on Monday, September 1, 2025, the Minister of State in charge of Government Communications, Felix Kwachofosu, the President, announced that the Chief Justice Tokono has been removed from office in accordance with Article 146, Subsection 9 of the 1992 Constitution, following the recommendation of a committee that found grounds of misbehavior in petition filed against her. The committee, chaired by Justice Gabriel Scott Kwamang of the Supreme Court, included Justice Samuel Kwame Adibu Esiedu, former Auditor General Daniel Yao Domelevo, Major Flora Bazwanura Dalugu of the Ghana Armed Forces, and Professor James Sefa Zisa of the University of Ghana. The panel was tasked to investigate 3 petitions against the former Chief Justice Tokono by citizens including Daniel Ofori. In relation to that, Ayukwe Otu, a former Attorney General, late counsel for Justice Tokono, who is a former, condemned the dismissal as unconstitutional and a threat to judicial independence. In a statement on September 24, Otu argued that the process violated due process, suppressed evidence, and disregarded pending domestic and international cases. Now, this incident sets a dangerous precedent that signals subordination of the judiciary to executive arm. The issue is, are they once again, like what is happening in Trump's America, stifling truth or shushing people? Well, Martin Amido, on the other hand, a former special prosecutor and former attorney general, took an opposing view, stating that Tokono's removal was lawful and consistent with the Constitution. In the statement on September 22, 2025, Amido referenced the Supreme Court decision in the J. Chum versus Attorney General and Akwete 2005 to 2006, emphasizing the removal under Article 146 applies both to the Chief Justice and as a Justice of the Supreme Court. Now, Amadou said he described Tokono's legal maneuvers as lawfare, aimed to prolonging the controversy. But Dr. Dominic Ayini, the current Attorney General, Minister of Justice, recently criticized the Ghana Bar Association for calling for Tokono's reinstatement, describing their position as politically biased. Speaking at the Ghana Bar Association conference on September 15, Dr. Ayini pointed out that the previous Article 146 removals of constitutional office holders, including Loretta Lamte and Charlotte Osei, did not elicit similar public outcry from the bar. Dr. Ayini suggested that the bar stance in the Tokono's case reflects alignment with opposition New Patriotic Party, noting the bar found its voice only in relation to the third petition. Coincidentally, the voice of the bar amplified the voice of the opposition. Following the dismissal, President Mahama has nominated Paul Bafo Boni as the new Chief Justice pending parliamentary approval. Meanwhile, Tokono continues to pursue her legal challenge, arguing that her removal as Chief Justice does not automatically entail a removal as a Justice of the Supreme Court. So what do you think about that? Ladies and gentlemen, this is Starr Radio, okay? We're going to be taking a break exactly at 12:32 and preparing the ground for Mr. Dan Tabiri, CEO of GIL Accountancy Services and Money Man, to join in this morning or this afternoon to bring you the Money Hour. And as I did say earlier on, it's going to be a continuation of our discussion on inheritance tax. Now, at what point does it kick in? Starr Radio UK. Stay tuned and don't you go away.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Starr, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse. Hi there. Are you dreaming of owning your own house in Ghana? Then you will need a well-documented piece of land that is free from troubles. I highly recommend My Africa Property for any size of land that you will need. With My Africa Property, lands are available in Prampram, Sopoli, Tohenia, Ogome, Dodova, Winneba, and many other locations at affordable prices. These locations are about an hour away from the airport, only 35 minutes from the motorway, 10 minutes drive from Central University College, 10 minutes drive to the beach, and close to Prampram Senior High School and Ghana Men's Soccer Center of Excellence. For more details, visit our website www.myafricaproperty.com or call our UK office on 0208 123 2523. For our US and Canada offices, call us on +1 585 184 994145. You can also email us at ghana@myafricaproperty.com.
Getting onto the property ladder has never been easy until now. Join us this and every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. live on the Property Hour show on Starr Radio UK, where we talk to mortgage brokers, property developers, estate agents, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour show is your best source into the property industry.
Everywhere you go, Afrobeat reggae dancehall taking over. Everywhere you go, Afrobeat reggae dancehall taking over. Yo, what's up, people? This is a boy Raskin Bobo One. Tune in every day, every night at the Starr Radio UK with the big man them Archie. When I say Orta, you say fire.
Welcome back to the program. This is Starr Radio UK, and this is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London, bringing the time now to 12:35 from the hearts of London, and I have no other one but the one and only Mr. Dan Tabiri, CEO of GIL Accountancy Services, our money man, in the house this afternoon. And I'm saying good afternoon to you, Mr. Tabiri.
Good afternoon, Archie. It's a pleasure to come your way again.
Yes. How are you doing, sir?
By God's grace, I'm doing great.
Great. Wonderful to have you this afternoon. And as we did communicate in the background, we are having a look at a continuation of inheritance tax once again.
That's correct, yes. So we want to finish off our conversation on inheritance tax.
Okay. So maybe for those of our listeners who were not part of our initial discussions, if you just recap a bit on where what we looked at, and then we can come to where you want to continue today, sir.
Okay, so let's do a quick recap, summary of what we spoke about the last time we met. So we said inheritance tax is really simply a tax on the estate of a person who has died, and today the discussions that we're having pertains only to UK inheritance tax. UK inheritance tax. So it's important to stress that so that people are not confused wherever they are. I know Starr Radio has a global reach, and people are listening from all parts of the world. So inheritance tax is a tax on the estate of someone who has died. So currently we have an exempt threshold for inheritance tax. So if someone passes away and they have assets in their estates that are less than £325,000, then they have no inheritance tax to pay or to account for. There are also some exemptions which we spoke about. So for example, if you pass away and you leave all your assets or your estates to your spouse, then your spouse there will be no inheritance tax on the assets that you've left to your spouse. And also your spouse can also take on your unused inheritance tax allowance. So if you pass everything on to your spouse, which means that you have not used your 325,000 allowance, and therefore your spouse can also inherit that. So at the point where your spouse passes away, then he or she would have £650,000 annual exemption to account for in terms of the inheritance tax. And then we also mentioned that the inheritance tax rate at the moment in the UK is 40%. So for example, if you leave out, let's say, £400,000 in your estate, then you have a 325,000 exemption, and then the 75,000 pounds that will be left over will be taxed at 40%.
Okay.
Okay.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, so for those of you who missed out last time when we were on the program, that is a bit of a summary of what was looked at, but today we continue with it. But before we go on now, a question came in last week, the other time, so let me bring that one quickly and then we continue. Now, it's talking about foreign investment. So the person was talking about foreign investment. So as we are here, most of us, because we come from other parts of the world before we live in here, citizen, whatever. But you might have some, let's say, some investment back home. Let's say you have a property in Ghana. Okay, that's where I hail from. So let me use that as an example. So I built a property in Ghana, maybe worth about maybe another, let's say maybe another 100,000 worth. Now, how does that come into play when I'm no more and I'm bequeathing that to my children or whoever is inheriting?
Right, so that would have been part of discussion we'll come on to today.
Okay.
We will touch on that. That's part of the discussions to finish off our chat on inheritance tax.
Okay.
So I would answer that question. But if I may, last time as well, I think we spoke about some gifts, and it's important to also
look at that as well.
That. And then we'll look at the how foreign assets or overseas assets fall into the scope of inheritance tax.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you remember, we also spoke about gifts and said that if you give a gift to any person and you live more than 7 years after you've given the gift, then that falls outside of your estate and will not count towards inheritance tax.
Okay.
If you die between 7 years, so we'll look at the 7 years rules in detail. We also spoke about some rules on gifts. So you have an allowance of £3,000 each year, which you can give, and it will not count to any one person, and it will not count towards your estate.
Okay.
So that £3,000 allowance can be used for anyone.
Okay.
And then we also have
for any child or any beneficiary.
Any beneficiary for any tax year.
Okay.
For any tax year, you can give £3,000 for any other reasons at all.
Okay.
But we have what we call small gift allowance as well, and small gifts allowance are up to maximum of £250 per person.
250 per person.
Maximum of £250 per person. You can give £250 per person to as many people as you like. So you can give 250 to 100 people.
Okay.
Or 500 people each.
Okay, but just to for clarification there. So the 3,000 allowance that you have, that one is not per person, is it?
That is not per person. No, that is your
in totality.
Allowance. Correct, in totality. So give away £3,000 worth of tax each year, and that cannot be included in your estate.
Okay.
Yeah. So we've spoken about the small gift allowance of £250 per person, and then there's also special gifts. So the taxman recognizes that there can be weddings or situations. So for weddings and civil partnership, it recognizes that you may have to give some gifts, and so it gives you some allowance. So you can give £5,000 to a child, £2,500 to a grandchild or a great grandchild, and £1,000 to any other person.
Okay.
These special gifts as well would not fall within your estate if you should fall down, unfortunately, tomorrow, or within the year or less than 7 years. That will not be counted.
Okay. Whilst there again, there is I know there are a few questions that people sent in, so I'm trying to yes. Now, so if it happens that somebody decides that my child is of driving age, passed their driving test, I want to buy a car for them. So I'm going to look at a car. Let's say I bought a car 15,000. Okay. There are two of them now. So like my twins, and I can't buy one and leave the other one. So I buy one for.
You're spoiling them.
I'm spoiling them. Yeah. How is that captured? Because I know that I have only 3,000. Would that be in my name? Is that a gift to them, which is more than the 3,000 that I'm allowed to as gift?
Yeah. So you've given the gift of 15,000. Let's say you've given the gift of 15,000. So you've exceeded your limit for 1 year. So if you live more than 7 years, then that gift, that £12,000 does not go into your estate.
Okay.
So there will be no inheritance tax on it, so long as you live more than 7 years after you've given that gift
out. Okay. All right. the other person was asking that, people have money, or maybe business is going very well, and they decide, okay, I want to buy a property for maybe my mom. I bought a property for that. I bought a property for them. So it's in the name of the, so maybe, let's say outright, so don't mortgage, but outright. How is that captured as well?
So effectively, you've given them, if let's say the house is 200,000 pounds or 300,000, effectively you're giving that 300,000 pounds as a gift.
Yeah.
These gifts, we'll come to that, but these gifts have to be recorded because they may form part of your estate. If the unfortunate happens within 7 years of you giving that gift, then they have to be accounted for as part of your estate.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, interesting discussion this afternoon with the money man himself, Mr. Dan Tabiri, CEO of GIL Accountancy Services. For all your accounting issues, you've got nowhere to go. Just get in touch with him. But this afternoon, we are looking at inheritance tax. That I've named it part 2, and it's quite interesting discussion there. Don't miss out on it. So tell a friend to tell a friend that this is going on and be part of it. Okay, over to you, sir.
Yeah. So that's in terms of the gifts, that's for inheritance tax. Other important thing we need to look at critically is the 7-year rule, because the 7-year rule starts the countdown for when the tax would crystallize. So it's important that we know how this works. It works on a sliding scale. So if I give a gift and something happens to me, the unfortunate thing happens to me in year 1 or year 2 or year 3, I will pay more tax on that gift than if I should pass away in year 6 or year 5. See what I mean?
Can you come back on that, please?
Yeah. So the closer, if something should happen within the 7 years of giving the gift, the closer you are to the 7 years, the lower the inheritance tax. That you pay.
Okay.
So if I give a gift today and something should happen to me in the next year, it means I'm paying between year 1 and year 2, you will be paying the full rate of inheritance tax at 40%.
Okay.
Between year 3 and year 4, the inheritance tax rate is reduced by 8% to 32%.
Oh, okay.
For year 4, between year 4 and year 5, it's again reduced by another 8% to 24%. Year 5 to year 6 is 16%. Year 6 to year 7 is 8%. And then from year 7 onwards is 0%. There's no.
Interesting.
So that's how the 7-year rule happens.
Okay.
So once you give that gift, whatever you need to do to keep the person alive, you have to keep do so.
Go and buy oxygen tank in your
do
house.
everything that you can. Yeah, you have to look after them. You have to pamper them. If your parent or somebody has given you a gift, you have to make sure they are very well taken care of.
Yeah.
They stay alive for you. Get the best doctors that you can. Pray for them if you can. To sustain them, because it could cost a lot of money otherwise.
Okay. Well, yes, go on, sir.
Yeah, and then some questions, some people sometimes wonder also what happens. So I think we spoke about it last week. So what we call the gift reservation. So if you give the gift and you are also benefiting from it, then that is what is called a gift of reservation.
Okay.
So with a gift of reservation, if you give a gift and you are still using the asset, then that will count towards your inheritance estate if you don't do something about it. The 7-year rule does not apply when it comes to gifts of reservations.
Okay.
So for example, you give a home to your relative and then you still live there rent free, then you'll be caught within the gift of reservation rules.
Okay.
If you're going to be living there, you either be living together with them, or you're paying rent, market rent for and paying the bills of the house, just like any tenant would do. So that's very important. And
you didn't say living together with them. If you do that, if you're living together with them, they're not going to be paying anything. So I have the house. We all got the rooms that we occupying. I bequeath the thing to my daughter or my son, and then I still live in there with them, but it's not my property, it's theirs.
Correct, yes.
I don't pay anything. I mean, the law will not affect me.
Correct, yes.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
The gift reservation will apply. So, but if they are not living there, so you're living in your home.
Yeah.
But you're giving the house to, let's say, your child, but your child has a family of their own, or they're living somewhere else. Then that's a gift with reservation.
Okay.
And that would count towards your estate. So the person who deals with your estate would need to work out what gifts you gave in the 7 years before your death.
Okay.
So some records would have to be kept. You need to keep records of what you gave and who you gave it to, the value of the gifts at the time when you gave it as well, and the timing when you actually gave these gifts. So all of these records would have to be kept.
Okay.
And then inheritance tax is usually paid on the estate. So whoever is your executor would be the one who would pay your inheritance tax.
Okay.
So unless you give away more than £325,000 in gifts in the 7 years before your death, once you give away more than 325, anyone who gets a gift from you in those 7 years will have to pay the inheritance tax on their gifts.
Okay. Now you talk about that if somebody give a gift or bequeath something to a charity, they don't pay any inheritance tax.
Correct. That's one of the exemptions. So if you leave your assets or estate, any part of your estate, to a charity, that is exempt from inheritance tax as well.
Okay. And the charity means any charity at all?
A charity is a charity who's registered in the United Kingdom as a charity.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, Starr Radio UK. We'll still go on because we know our time is pressed, but we'll still go on. So continue, sir.
Yeah, so let's look at the overseas issues. So depending on when you die, it depends on where the law treats you as based or resident.
Okay.
So if you are based abroad, inheritance tax would only be paid on your assets that are in the UK. So whether it's a property or bank accounts, that is the only place where inheritance tax will touch you if you are based abroad. So the revenue will treat you as being based abroad if you have lived in the UK for less than 10 years in the last 20 years.
Okay.
Yeah. So inheritance tax is not paid on what we call excluded assets, foreign currency accounts with a bank or the post office. So if you have, let's say you are in the UK and you have some accounts in dollars, it will be exempted from your estate.
Okay.
Also any overseas pensions. So if you have any pension plans overseas, they would also be exempted from your estate. Any holdings in authorized unit trust and open-ended investment companies as well will also be exempted from your estate. Then for deaths on or before the 5th of April 2025, the person who has died has been based in the UK will be treated as being based in the UK if either their permanent home was in the UK or they lived in the UK for 15 of the last 20 years.
Okay.
Or they have had their permanent home in the UK at any time in the last 3 years of their life.
Okay.
So this is where you have been, where you have lived. It's important. I know that some of our aged population, especially, they don't like to live in this country or stay in this country for a long time. So long as you have lived abroad for, if you've lived abroad more than for the last 5 years,
continuously,
yes. So then you would not have, you'll be exempt from UK in inheritance tax.
Okay.
Except if you have assets here in the UK.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Now, when it comes to, accounts, like let's say I have an account in Cayman Islands, and then I sell some of my properties. I have a few properties. I sell them, and I just put those monies there. That come in. How does it capture that as well?
So that still depends on where the law regards you as based.
Oh, okay.
So if you are deemed resident in the UK, then all your worldwide assets are taxable in the UK.
In the UK, all right.
But if you are not based here in the UK, if the law deems you as based overseas, then that will not be touched. Only assets in the UK would fall into the inheritance tax net.
Okay. Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, Starr Radio UK eventually at the tail end of their program. But we'll go back to Mr. Tabiri. He will complete what he is trying to present to us, and then he will virtually put all his contact details, because all this word of knowledge that is putting across. Now, if you have to go consult people for it, boy, you have to pay huge sums of money for that. And then when it comes to your accounts as well, as whether it's a corporate account or personal account or name it, you have to put things in order before that day comes. That day does come to everybody. But you need to make sure that you put things in order. If you have not, get in touch with him. You put all the details there, and you try to straighten things with you. Over to you, Mr. Tabiri.
Yes. So it's also important to note that there's also what we call double taxation treaties. So whilst we're looking at people who may be living abroad but resident in other countries, so if you are based in the UK and you have assets overseas, the overseas country may have its own tax rules and may tax you on the assets that you have in that country. So long as the UK have what we call a double taxation treaty with those countries, whatever tax that has been paid on those assets, you'll be given tax relief on it in the UK, so that you don't pay the inheritance tax twice.
Oh, okay.
So that is also available. As has already been mentioned, if you have any issues with accounting or tax matters, please reach out to me on 079-6124-8834, 079-6124-8834, and I will be more than happy to speak with you and discuss your issue.
Wow. Mrs. Tabiri, let me say thank you very much for another wonderful presentation there. And I hope, like we said, when wisdom is available, when there's abundance of water, it's only the fool that is thirsty. And I don't want you to be a fool this afternoon. So the information that we put across, make sure you get in touch with him. If you need clarity or whatever, you have any further questions, just forward it to us on Starr Radio UK. Our email address is info@starradiouk.com. Just forward it and just highlight it, maybe inheritance tax or Mr. Dan Tabiri, and we'll make sure he gets that. And then but the best way is to get in touch with him directly, and he will help you out on that front. So, Mr. Tabiri, let me say thank you very much for this wonderful time with you once again.
And it's been a pleasure for me speaking with you and your wonderful listeners.
All right, then. So have a lovely day, and then we catch up later.
Thank you.
All right, then. Right. Bye. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that has been Mr. Dan Tabiri, CEO of JIL Accountancy Services, a money man who this afternoon once again brought us a continuation of our discussion on inheritance tax. And I hope if you missed out on any of them, go to the Starr Radio UK Facebook or YouTube or the social media platforms, and you will have it all there. Just type in the Friday shows. Just type in the Money Hour with Mr. Dan Tabiri on the Starr Radio UK, and it will pop out, and you will be able to listen to it. And if you want to contact him, as we did say, feel free to do so, and it will help you a great deal. On that note, let me say thank you very much for tuning in to listen to us this morning or today. This is where we bring the program to a close. It's been a pleasure coming your way. It's been me, your one and only Archie, saying have a top of the day. God willing, Monday we'll be back with the Monday edition of the morning show. Until then, well, Monday will bring you HRH Linda Pallian. But until then, have a wonderful afternoon and God bless you. Bye-bye for now. In celebration of Black History Month, BB Clement presents Afro Global Networking Lunch 2025. Speaker, Dr. Olumide Emmanuel. The date is Monday, the 27th of October 2025, from 12 noon to 3 p.m. The venue is Stevenson Howard LLP, 1 Finsbury Circus, City of London. The postcode EC2M7SH. Please note, this is an exclusive event with limited spaces. The fee comes at £60 ordinary, for VIPs £75. For more information, please contact reception at augustineclement.com or call 0203 223 0800. This program is sponsored by Stevenson Howard.
This is Starr Radio UK.
The best radio show.
In your car,
at work,
at home,
on your smartphone.
Body is your man. Bekutu, show them you got the cocoa set. Ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy Harry Song, aka Mr. Songs. This is the Kingmaker Baba for the girls. We're here. This is Starr Radio. Don't go nowhere. UK, London. We they call them London for who? For here, we they call them London. And that's how you know. Just have fun and stay blessed.
Thanks for listening.